Hi, welcome to Cricket Akash. I am Akash Chopra. Well, what exactly is preparation? Is it only about turning a couple of weeks in advance, playing a couple of warm-up games, or there is more to it? There is a deeper meaning to preparation. Is this Indian team, which got rogered in England, underprepared, or just did not have the technique as many people are talking about? Or there is something more to its dismal performance so far? Personally, I believe it's a case of severely underprepared for a tour of this magnitude. I think the team misunderstood and did not really or miscalculated the threat they were up against in England. It was one of the marquee series. In fact, in 2011, there were only two occasions for which Indian team had to prepare for. One was the World Cup. We prepared well. We won the tournament. And the second was this series, this marquee series against England in England, which could have enhanced our reputation as the number one side in the world, number one test side in the world, and God forbid, had we faltered, we would have relinquished that spot to England, and that's exactly how it has panned out. And it's not because we did not have the technique or the personnel, it's about preparation or the lack of it. In my opinion, preparation is a long drawn process. You can't just turn up. Yes, it helps. It helps if you play a couple of first-class matches before the tour starts. You get used to the conditions. But that's acclimatization. I won't call it preparation. Yes, it's a part of it, but just a part, not the entire thing. Preparation starts a long time before you set foot on the foreign soil. You start identifying the threats you're up against while you're touring abroad or while you're up against a certain opposition, and then start preparing accordingly, meticulously. I'd go back to what England did in Australia when they went ahead and regained the Ashes earlier this year. They started planning well in advance. They identified a couple of bowlers who would hit the deck and get up to the Australian batsmen, someone like Bresnan and Finn. They were included into the squad. Then they had this development squad which toured simultaneously. The moment there was an injury scare, loss of form, the replacement was ready. And not just ready and there in Australia, but match ready, already being acclimatized to the Australian conditions. And that's what you call meticulous planning. Even Australia did something similar a long time ago when they sent Matthew Hayden to India. He came to MRF, practiced against spin bowlers to get used to playing on dust bowls against quality spinners. And the result is there for everyone to see. He came here and set the world alight. They may still not have won that series. I'm talking about the 2001 series. But their performance was outstanding. They lost the series because India outplayed them, not because they were underprepared. There's a stark difference between the two. What is happening with India right now is a clear case of underpreparation or being undercooked. The second part of it is how you identify the personnel. We already knew, we always knew that openers are going to play a huge role in England. The ball seams around, darts around. You need a player with solid technique, who have the caliber to play long innings, negotiate the new ball, set up the platform for your much famed middle order, the likes of Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, VVS Lakshman, Suresh Raina, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But what we did was inexplicable. We picked up only two openers. Both of them have never played in cricket in England, at least test cricket in England. Mukund is still cutting his teeth into international cricket, so obviously he's extremely raw. Gautam Gambhir, a seasoned campaigner, but believe it or not, before this series, even he hadn't played a single test match in England. So when you're sending your two openers who had no experience of English conditions in the past, I think you're just gambling a bit too much. We expected both of them to do well and take us to the at least third test match, and then the reinforcement would have arrived in the form of Virender Sehwag. It did come, but I think we had lost a lot of ground before Virender Sehwag actually boarded that flight from India to London. The moment Gautam Gambhir went down at Lord's, I think that was a killer blow, because the entire batting order changed, because Rahul Dravid started opening, VVS Lakshman had to bat at number 3. These two in-form Indian batsmen actually end up batting out of their favoured position, and that's not a great situation to be in. I agree, it can happen. A number 3 batsman may have to walk in the first over itself, but let the opposition do that to you, not yourself. And in this case, I think we did it to ourselves. Since there wasn't a third opener available, we had to continue with Rahul Dravid as an opener. He did well, but everything else changed around him, which is not an ideal situation. All that for not having a third opener in the side. I think that was extremely unreasonable. When you're touring England, you would expect at least 3 openers in your, as you would expect 5 bowlers, 5 fast bowlers. I mean, you would expect 3 openers to be picked in the side, but not to be. Our preparation or our foresight was found wanting, because the likely replacements of the likes of Zaheer, Harbhajan Singh, or maybe a third opener or whoever else, they were not there in Australia. They're actually cooling their heels in India. The moment Zaheer got injured, we summoned RP Singh, who should have been in Australia playing competitive cricket. But he was in India because he was not picked there. So there's a lack of clarity when it comes to picking the side. And I think that's what has made us pay dearly, because if you fail to prepare, you must be prepared to fail. It sounds cliche, but I think that's what it is. It's a classic case of under preparation as far as this Indian team is concerned. We knew that certain players are not comfortable against the fast bowling, against the short pitch deliveries, to be very precise, or the moving ball, but we did not do anything about it. We went ahead and picked the same players, hoping that the ball won't swing or the bowlers won't actually bowl a lot of bouncers. This is Test cricket. It doesn't happen that way. When you're up against a strong opposition which is itching, which is so charged up to get to the top, I think it's unreasonable to expect any favors, and that's what happened with this Indian team. If we want to do well in Australia, I think we need to start preparing now, and it will start by first identifying the personnel who would do well in Australia. Pick decent openers, pick the bowlers who would hit the deck hard. If need be, you rest them before the series, you rest them against England when they come around to play in India for those 5 one-day games, or play them sporadically against West Indies in that 3 test match series happening in India. There could be many ways of protecting or nurturing the talent.